Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Welcome to another edition of the Max Moments Book Club. I can't believe we're in October. This is crazy. So this would be number 10 in terms of this calendar year. I can't believe it. The year is going so quickly. So I hope you're having a great year. I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're having a great Sunday. And I'm excited to be with you again today. I'm excited also about what we're going to be talking about. We've got lots to go over, and we're going to be talking about the next section in this book, which I'll get to in just a second. But again, I just thank you for being here, whether it's going to be live, whether it's going to be on replay. As I always say, I get lots of people that watch this on replay. So whether it's live or on replay, whatever it is, I hope you get something out of today. And just again, thank you for being here. So as you know, I always kind of start this way, but back at the beginning of this year, right? So 2024, end of 2023, I sort of started thinking about what I wanted to do. And with me releasing the Max Moments book in 2023, what I said to myself is, for the year of 2024, what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit to do a Max Moments book club, which is going to be to take one of the Max Moments from each of the sections in the book, and every month do a deep dive into one Max Moment. Okay, there's 42 Max Moments in the book, but what I decided to do is just say we're going to commit to do one each month and do a little bit deeper of a dive. And I'm excited about today. So as I said before, this is October. We're getting close to Halloween, and so yeah. So let's just jump straight into it. All right. And again, I'm gonna put in the chat. Hello. Great to see you. Just typing in the chat. So anyways, all right. So let's get started. As I said before, I like these to be around 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most, around 15 minutes. So we're not going to be long, but it gives us an opportunity to delve into another one of these Max Moments. So this month, okay, for October, we're going to be looking at the section in the book on resilience. As you know, there's 5 sections in the book. Sections on vision, mindset, habits, resilience, happiness, and then there's also a bonus section. So this month, we're going to be looking at resilience. Last month we looked at habits, and this month we're going to be looking at resilience. And resilience is such an important thing nowadays, especially if you're a high performer, especially if you're in the world of achievement and trying to do things. The idea of being resilient when things aren't going your way, I think, is such an important quality to have, and such an important muscle and skill to work on and to create. So hopefully today's Max Moment is going to be an opportunity for you to do that. So if you have the Max Moments book, I encourage you to open it up. I'm going to be talking through the Max Moment. I'm going to be reading the whole thing, but kind of stopping and adding my own little elements as well. But if you have the book, and if you don't, I encourage you to get it or get it for somebody else. But turn to page 143, and this is what we're going to be talking about. So in terms of the section on resilience, we're going to be talking about today's Max Moment, which is called The Problem with Problems. I'll show you right there, The Problem with Problems. I love this one. There's a lot that I love in this book, but I really think that this one, some of the points that we're going to talk about today, I believe are really, really important in helping you to gain a different perspective. And that's really what these Max Moments are about. It's a moment of insight. It's a moment when you look at life a different way. It's a moment when you create a different perspective on something that's happened in your life. And what it can do is it can give you a supercharge and help get you to the next level. And that's what all of these Max Moments are about. And I believe this one could do that. This one's called The Problem with Problems. Before I get started, I'll just show you this. Let me just boil it down. Okay. So if I just to boil it down and just to start saying, what do I mean when I say the problem with problems? This is it. Okay. I'll boil it down. Then we're going to read through the Max Moment, but this is it. The problem with problems is that we don't think as humans that we should have any problems. That's the problem with problems, is that we think we as humans shouldn't have problems. We think that everything needs to be perfect, or everything needs to run smoothly, or everything needs to be exactly the way that I planned it to be. And you and I know that's not life. That's not life. That's not reality. That's not the way things go. Things aren't always as they seem. And so the problem with problems is that we don't think that we should have problems. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing is the problems that we do have in our life, oftentimes we don't give them the right perspective. We don't view them in the correct way. And so what it does is it provides an imbalance where it actually hurts us and prevents us from getting the things we want. Where if we create a different focus and we create a different perspective and a different mindset around the problems that we do have in our life, then oftentimes what it can do is that it can actually help us. And I know that's weird to say, but I think you'll have a different perspective once you read through this. So let's get started, okay? All right, so page 143. It's called The Problem with Problems. So let's just get straight into it right here. It says, what is a major problem in your life right now? Okay, so just think about it, whether it's live, whether it's on replay, whatever it's going to be, but just take a moment, think about it. What is a major problem in your life right now? We all have them. As I said before, the problem with problems is that we don't think we should have any problems, but the reality is we all do. So what is a problem in your life right now? Okay, what is a massive cause of concern or stress for you right now? And depending on who you are, depending on what you do, it can be a lot of different things, but just pick something. What is a massive cause of concern or stress for you right now? What is something that you just can't seem to get past? Now, take all of that and then let me add this caveat. And this is where I'm getting straight to it, right? We're getting straight to this shifting of mindset and the shifting of perspective to create that resilience that we need. What if that problem is actually providing you with your greatest opportunity? Boom, right out the gate, hitting you right there, okay? Just think about it. What if that problem is actually providing you with your greatest opportunity? And I'll go on, it says here, it says, sounds crazy, I know. But the problem with problems is that most people don't view them correctly. Okay, we think that successful people shouldn't have problems because if you're successful, then everything's got to be hunky dory, everything's got to be perfect, right? But we think that successful people shouldn't have problems, or when we do have problems, all they do is prevent us from reaching the level of success we desire. Okay. Now, looking back, what past problems have you allowed to stop you from creating your future successes? And I think if we all agree, if you took that time and you look back, we'd all see, myself included, that there have been times in our life where problems that we've had, stresses that we've had, they've actually stopped us from creating the future success that we want and we desire in life. Okay. So I go on, I say this: when I look at success and how to achieve it, I think of what author Thomas Fuller said. And he said this, I love it. He said, it is always darkest just before the day dawneth. And I love that word, dawneth, by the way. It is always darkest just before the day dawneth. So, in other words, things often seem to be at their worst right before they get better. Interesting, right? Often a setback is actually set up to get us exactly where we are destined to be. Often the opportunity we need to get where we want to go is disguised as impossible obstacles and problems. And that's a different way of looking at it, right? That's a different way of looking at problems. As I said before, the two issues with problems. Number one, the problem with problems is that we don't think we should have any problems. And then number two, the problem with problems is the problems that we do have, we don't look at them in the correct way. So that is why I love working with high achievers, to help shift their perspective and show them what's possible in their life. And that's why you're here right now. That's why you're listening to this. Okay. Because even if you can't see it for yourselves, okay, and that process that I'm help people with is the practice of reframing. Because reframing is about shifting focus. And if you want to take advantage of every opportunity, then you have to learn to shift your focus and start seeing your problems in a different way. Okay. And it's all right here. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep reading. I'm getting jazzed up, getting energized if you can't tell. So in the world of high performance, everyone is looking for the advantage, right? Everyone's looking for the answer. Everyone is looking for the edge. Everyone is looking for the little things that can ultimately make the biggest difference. But for the extraordinary among us, reframing to view setbacks as opportunities, problems as blessings, and failures as gifts is what sets those high achievers and those successful people apart from everyone else. Because you see, and I want you to catch this, and I love this, where others see problems, high achievers and successful people see opportunities. Let me say that again. Where others see problems, high achievers and successful people and happy people, they see opportunities. Now you might be reading this and you might be thinking, well, that's easy for you to say, right? That's easier said than done. And I get it, right? Some people have said that. Well, you're just a positive person, Max. Like nobody thinks that way, right? You don't get me. You don't understand me. Okay. You might be thinking that I don't understand how bad your problems are or what you're going through. But I write in here, I say, I do understand, because there's nothing more difficult than trying to stay positive when nothing seems to be going your way. I get it. When nothing's going your way, when your back's against the wall, trying to stay positive is difficult. I get it. But I also know this: one of the key differences that I've found in super achievers creating abundant success and happiness in their life is their capacity to see their problems as opportunities. Because when things are darkest, they know that the dawn is near. And they make it less about changing their circumstances and more about changing their perspective. And I want to just stop on that just for a second. I want you to catch that. Okay. I think this is so important. This is one of the keys to this maximum right here. Okay. The most successful, the happiest, the most abundant, whatever you want to say, okay, they make it less about changing their circumstance, whatever circumstance you're faced with, whatever problem, it's less about trying to change that. Like, I've got to change this, I've got to change the circumstance. Like, it's just not fair, whatever. They spend less time and they worry less about changing their circumstance, and they spend more time and more effort, more energy, more focus on changing their perspective of the circumstance, their perspective of the situation. Like, how do I view it in a different way? How do I see it in a light that can help me and not hurt me? Okay. So if you're truly honest with yourself right now, maybe your biggest problem is not your biggest problem. Okay. Maybe your biggest problem is your perspective of the problems that you currently have. Maybe you should stop wanting to avoid the difficult problems and start asking what you are going to gain and learn from these difficult problems. It's a different way of looking at it, right? So I'm almost done. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to pose you a question, and then we'll be out here. Okay. If you change your perspective, I do know this to be true. If you change your perspective, you will change your reality. If you change your reality, you will change your life. And in doing so, you will get to a place where you become as grateful for the problems as you are for the achievements. And that's a good one. I'm going to say that again. Okay. If you do that, you do what we're asking you to do, shift your perspective on problems, you'll get to a place where you'll become as grateful for the problems, which again, I said before, it's crazy to think, right? Like, you want me to be grateful for my problems, Max? Like, you want me to embrace them? Yes. When you get to that place where you can see the blessing in those things, you become as grateful for the problems as you do for all the achievements in your life. And when you do that, you will enter into a realm of thinking that is reserved for a select few who know exactly how to answer this question. And this is like a mic drop one right here. This is the question. What if the future you really want is hiding behind your biggest problem? I just want you to think about that for a second. What if the future that you really want for your life, what if it's actually hiding behind your biggest problem? And that is why this chapter, this maximum, is called the problem with problems, because we don't think we should have problems in our life. But if you look at it this way at the end and you start reframing things, you start creating a different focus, what you're starting to look at is you say, what if the future that you really want in your life, the things that you want, the things that you want to achieve, the things that you want to do, what if all of that is possible and it's actually hiding behind your biggest problem? And I know for me, I've looked at certain things in my life where I look back and I'm like, wow, some of the biggest. I'm going to say this actually. I'm going to stop right here just for a second, because I think next month, one of the maximums in here highlights one of my biggest issues, problems that I've ever had in my life. And it's one of the maximums in the next section. So I might reserve that for next time. But what I want to say is this: is when I look at my life and I look at some of what I thought were problems in my life, what they've actually led me to is some of the biggest opportunities in my life. And where I am today is a result of all of those times where I had to work through something. I had to be resilient. That's why this section is called resilience. I had to be resilient. I had to find ways to overcome things. And how do you do that? You don't want for less problems. You take the problems you've got and you say, how can I use them to help me? Does that make sense, everybody? If it does, stick it in the chat. Say, yes, that makes sense, Max. Give me a little something, and just take that idea, take that concept away with you today, and say, don't want for less problems. Don't hide from the problems. Don't be sad when these problems come up. Just take those problems and use them to help you. And the way you do that is you've got to see it in a different way. Okay. So here's the action questions at the end. It's basically this. And this will be my last little bit for you today, and then I'll send you on your way so you can have an amazing Sunday. And it's this: what if, or I should say, let me rephrase it. Sorry. Action question: what is one of your biggest problems? Which is what I asked you at the beginning. With a change in perspective, how could this problem be an opportunity? Whatever you thought about at the beginning, when I asked you, what is one of your biggest problems? What's one of the big stresses in your life? What's something that you just can't seem to get past? Whatever that is, ask yourself, with a change in perspective, how could this problem be an opportunity that can help you get exactly where you want to go. Think about that today. Okay. As always, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I hope that was helpful. As you go into this week, as you go into this Halloween week, as you go into and you finish out October strong, as you head into November, I just want you to know I'm always rooting for you. I'm always encouraging you. If you have anything that I can help you with, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. I want to be somebody in your corner, somebody that's rooting for you, somebody that's supporting you, and I always want you to find ways like these books can do and these max moments do is to help you live life to the max, live life at the next level. And if you do that, then I promise you great things await. So thank you for the comments. I love that about the one shift in perspective with injuries, right? For athletes and stuff. But I appreciate that perspective. We're talking about injuries in our life. And when you have these setbacks, you're like, man, like this injury, why did it happen to me? And then after the injury, you find out that it helped with your character, helped you become the person you meant to become. That's what we're talking about. Okay. The problem with problems. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, I'm just wishing you an amazing, amazing week, month, and I can't wait to see you here again next month. And until then, I'm going to have lots of more content coming out. So until then, just be on the lookout for all of that. But again, happy Sunday. Don't want for less problems. Take the problems and use them to be your biggest blessing and to create your biggest opportunity in life. All right. Happy Halloween. Have a great week. Happy Sunday. And as always, choose to live life to the max. Talk to you later. Bye bye.